So this is where we are located. Actually, that's the town of Bled. Many of you will probably know it. That's exactly how it looks. Our headquarters, IEDC-Bled School of Management, is about here. So about 1 o'clock on this picture. So CEEMAN was started now almost more than 25 years ago to respond to the needs for better quality of management development in the Central and Eastern Europe. Thus, you can see in the acronym CEEMAN, CEE stands for Central and Eastern Europe, and MAN for Management Development. But then what we saw is that the issues that we address, the issues of transition and change, the issues of leadership, they are also very similar to the issues that other dynamic societies face. And so that's how also our membership has grown to include more than 200 members around the world. You can see the distribution of membership on the screen. So really now it's just a little bit over half members that come from Central and Eastern Europe, and the rest come from other countries around the world. We do work more also now with Africa, with Latin America, with Asia. So it's really become a global organization. We call it dynamic societies because referring more to the dynamic changes happening in these countries. Yeah, although now I think the whole world is very dynamic and changing, but still, as we say, some are more dynamic than others. So in terms of our activities, we saw from the very beginning that it's very important to pay attention to faculty development. Yeah, so there were a number of projects also sponsored by Soros in the region in the end of 90s and in the early 2000s to support faculty development. So our IMTA, International Management Teachers Academy, was one of them. It started in 2000, and since then more than 650 participants, management educators, but also consultants and business trainers went through the program. We run other programs for deans, faculty, and staff because we believe in a well-rounded portfolio of management education. It's not enough to have just good teachers. You have to have professional program managers and administrators who very often are just thrown into the water, you know, and having to deal with the situation and hand and learning on the go. I think for deans and their management teams, especially these times now of dynamic changes, are particularly important in being able for the management team to speak the same language, to being able to shape the strategy of the institution, to adapt it very fast as they proceed. We organize international conferences for deans and directors. One will be now at the end of September, which for the first time in our history will be online. So that's a challenge for us as well, organizationally, how to run it. But we are preparing, I believe, very interesting program. We just got confirmation from the past president of AUM, who will be one of our moderators. We will not talk that much about COVID, but more about inspiration from fields beyond management and what we can learn from them. So biology and airplane industry, arts, theater. And then of course have multiple opportunities for experience exchange and sharing inspiring stories from our members. So I will use the opportunity to invite you all, if you have a chance to join us, I'll be happy to send you more information about that. We also support our member schools in terms of continuous quality development and quality assurance through our own international quality accreditation scheme. From the very beginning, it was focusing more on relevance and the impact the school makes in their own context. Yeah, so taking into account their specific environment in which the school operates, its mission, and how well it addresses the management development needs in the markets they serve. We run international research and publications, serving more as a platform for joint research. Yes, because I think here it would be a sin not to utilize the power of the network. So usually what we do is we act as a catalyst and as a platform, helping to develop the methodology for research and bring different research teams from our member and partner schools. So some of the projects you might have heard about The latest one is the second edition of the Hidden Champions project, Hidden Champions in Central and Eastern Europe, where we explore companies that are maybe not as known in their local markets, but are number 1 or 2 in the world in very, very narrow niches. So it's a lot of innovative, unique stories to learn from the Hidden Champions, and we want to bring lessons for managers and for management educators from that. And we run competitions and our own champion awards to reward and recognize outstanding achievements of our network. Our case writing competition, which I will talk a little bit more about later on, is open for everyone. Yeah, it focuses on emerging markets, but it's not limited just to our membership. Champion awards are. Yeah, so now, in fact, just yesterday, we announced the winners of our last case writing competition and of the champion award. So we are happy to see very diverse representation of both the nominees and winners there. And I bet you're wondering what this Alliance of Management Development Association is all about. That's a very new thing. And the official launch will actually be in October at the annual Congress of Latin American Association, one of our partners. But this is the idea that CEEMAN had for a long time already, to unite management development associations in dynamic societies together. So over the last year or so, we had different discussions and meetings with representatives of, for example, Latin American Association, African Association, Polish Association is also one of the partners, Russian, Baltic, to shape an alliance and see how we can support our member schools better, with the idea that together, you know, each of us has some unique competencies, unique benefits that they can bring to the table for the benefit of all. And one of the things that came up while we were exploring the idea of the alliance was also very strong voice for the need of new and relevant and local case materials, exchange of teaching techniques, methodologies, experience, better collaboration among faculty in dynamic societies in particular. So a couple of words about IMTA, because I think it kind of provides also the good context to the case teaching and our role in supporting case teaching and case writing in the region. So IMTA was initially designed as truly high impact faculty development. So I bet Andrea and Katarzyna can testify to that. It was very intense experience over the 2 weeks. But what I keep hearing, and you know, I like staying in touch with our alumni, and even after 20 years of IMTA, we still hear impressions like it was yesterday, you know, how intensive it was, how powerful it was. Often it's also a change, not only on professional level, but on personal level. We do have marriages also coming out of IMTA. So we have a couple of cases when participants met at our program. Regional integration and international. Well, in fact, at the faculty, we have one couple where a participant from Ljubljana married a lady from Singapore. And we have in Poland also a case against with Slovene guy. I don't know what it is about Slovene guys here. So, you know. But yeah, no, it's really heartwarming to see that, you know, what we do at the program really has long-lasting effect and synergies. But about the program as such, you know, we try to combine general pedagogical issues with discipline specific, and the very strong emphasis there is on case teaching. So as part of the program, participants would have a chance to learn about the case method in general. They will have a chance to prepare and discuss the cases, changing the heads. So it would be a discussion on the level between, like, participant to participant, teacher to participant, and teacher to teacher. Yeah, so analyzing really the case discussion from different angles. So how do you discuss this issue? Okay, if you have this discussion in class, how do you react as a teacher? What are your directions from here? How do you maybe set up some traps to make the discussion interesting, to spark the interest, to provoke the students. You know, so also, how do you use different tools? Yes, how do you combine the theory and the company background and experience? How do you bring in videos and interviews with the protagonists, or maybe use different multimedia approaches for discussion or case assignments? And we talk also about case writing and specifically about how to prepare teaching notes. Yeah, so about here, you know, combining also the experiences from IMTA, but also from the case writing competition, where we offer some webinars on case writing as well for potential participants. Like one of our good friends from IMD, Leif Sjöblom, he, for example, suggests to start with the teaching note. Yeah, so start with the teaching note first, but of course identifying the company and the issues, but really start with your teaching and learning objectives, and then think through how you will build the story of the case itself. Yeah, so at IMTA, what is very unique and very specific to this program, and very rare, I think, still, unfortunately, in management education, is that a team of faculty is working closely together. And I think this is also the future in management development. This collaboration, co-teaching, synergies across disciplines is very, very important. But often it's very hard for faculty to do that, you know, because egos come into play, different incentives and motivation systems, right? And it depends, of course, on institutional practices and how this collaboration is promoted and rewarded. You know, research versus teaching, administration, consulting. So a lot of work still remains to be done there. Yeah, and we really focus on the international aspects, bringing out international experiences, having a lot of interaction, bringing the disciplines together, and of course then supporting alumni collaboration and projects. And we are really happy to see that alumni do stay in touch after the program. They work together, they write cases together. We have also a number of our case competition winners, in fact, who started writing cases after IMTA. So one particular case is from Austria, well, a person from Austria, who was a business manager, and then he completed he was, I think, a participant at IEDC MBA program, and that's where he learned about IMTA, and he's, that sounds interesting, let me try. So he comes to IMTA, and after that, he switched his career entirely to academic. So he still consults, but he doesn't run business. He consults, he teaches, he started writing cases, in fact, writing down with with his fellow alumna from Estonia. And they write very interesting cases, including about IT enterprises, social enterprises. Now he's moving more towards sustainability as well. So very interesting stories. Yeah, so here are some promised photos. Andrea, I'm sorry. So that's Andrea in 2004. That's a strategy track with Professor Krzysztof Obloy. I don't know if you can see. So that's how it happens. You know, you see the paper cases from Harvard Business Review. You know, a lot of case discussions with Andrea, if you remember Anwar on the right side. His daughter is in Bled now, if you actually doing some research for us in leadership, and he himself went on to head the Uzbekistan branch of Lomonosov University of Management. You know, so very interesting connections come from IMTA as well. So there we go, you know, the typical Harvard setup for case discussions, but a lot of group work. That's our president, you know, that's already a graduation ceremony. Our president, Danica Purk, who was also the founding president of CEEMAN and the dean of IEDC-Bled School of Management. And that's me, believe it or not, 16 years ago, so very different, you know, so, but it was fun. It was fun also browsing through these photos. Yeah, so for those of you who are on smaller screen, you know, this is some infographic that I put together as, you know, the effect, the impact of IMTA. So yes, we did have more than 650 participants since then from 51 countries around the world. And the biggest number of alumni come, not surprisingly, from Russia, followed by Poland and Latvia. But then we had also, especially in the last 10 years, we had quite a few additions in terms of geographical expansion. We had a lot of participants also from Canada and Singapore, Philippines, Asia. China is now on the rise as well. For 88%, IMTA has fully met, or for 60% exceeded their expectations, which is a heartwarming thing to see. And a lot of participants also reflect that they have improved their teaching evaluations and had the chance to progress in terms of career growth. So now about 20%, in fact, I think even more than 20% now are in senior management positions. So again, a very powerful network if you think in terms of professional collaboration, projects and connections. And people do return for IMTA again because they have a chance to attend a different disciplinary track. Yeah. So what are the most often reported, implications of IMTA, consequences? So a lot of participants mentioned that if they were not teaching with cases before, they started teaching with cases. They got inspired. Or they started using more cases, or they started using them in a different way than before. Many of them started also writing cases or mentoring case writers. And here is again very nice examples of cross-country collaboration in terms of case writing, mentorship, and support. They started using more interactive teaching methods. Some of them even started consulting or opened a business, which was, I think, also very interesting because we do talk about, bridging the gap between practice and theory, and what better way to do it is to start a business yourself. Yes, teaching evaluations are going up. More important, I think, is the confidence goes up and you have reinforced passion for teaching. And I think this is the power also of trainings and projects like this, that you get more inspiration from colleagues, from the results, from achievements of what you can do together. We started with the case writing competitions very soon after CEEMAN was established. So the first case writing competition was actually in 1996. And since 2007, we collaborate with Emerald Emerging Markets Collection. So all the cases that are submitted for our competition, they have a chance to be published with Emerald. And Emerald is also sponsoring some prize money for the winners, the first 3 places, while from our side, we provide the opportunity to attend IMTA and also to attend the CEEMAN annual conference, so more on the development, further professional development side. What I like about the case writing competitions is that it's, first of all, it's a lot of very different cases coming in. Yeah, from all kinds of industries, countries, we still see some confusion between the research case and the teaching case. I think it's very hard to avoid. But I believe with the years, we see really an increase of quality in the cases that get submitted. We see some repeating names as well who apply twice or 3 times. But what I also really like is that we see a lot of cases that are co-authored. And this co-authorship goes either as collaboration among faculty, can be from the same school, can be from different schools, but also as collaboration of faculty and students, or faculty and business, and I think this is where the synergies are particularly visible. So again, some pictures from our award ceremonies. That actually on the left picture, the guy on the left side with the microphone is the one that I was talking about, Dietmar, going from business to academia. So that's his first win with his first case that he wrote after IMTA. And the picture on the right, that's from last year, where we had the winner of the competition was from South Africa. That's their colleague from their case writing center, and he won again this year. Wow. Jeff Blick, but with a different co-author and a different case, of course. Yeah, so it's also interesting stories from that. Yeah, so what we see also through our case, from our experience of working with cases, is that really it makes a big difference if the school has a dedicated case center. Yes, so and there are really strong case centers emerging, especially in Africa, in India. They're all over the place, participating in all kinds of competitions, but I also dedicate a lot of efforts into helping develop the case writing techniques, case teaching, collaboration with companies. They bring in dedicated faculty members, they bring in students to work with, so that really makes a difference, yeah, because then it's also institutional support behind. There's really a large increase in cases on the topics of sustainability and social issues, which is not surprising, obviously, because, you know, with the number of initiatives internationally, also on the supported by UN, like UN, United Nations Global Compact and PRIME, Principles for Responsible Management Education, and now the socially responsible investment being reported all over, that bringing more return on investment than ever. So also I think now the sustainability supporters have an ear also from business and from policymakers to bring sustainability issues more more into the curriculum. But what we see is still a lot of challenges: how to teach it, you know, how to integrate it properly, how to bring interest. There is lack of teaching tools, lack of teaching materials related to sustainability, but at least, you know, the interest is there also from students' side. If you're following also all the reports and surveys on millennials, how for them actually the socially responsible businesses are more attractive also in terms of employment and career. It's all helping, of course. Yeah, well, there is a lot of debate going on about the effectiveness of cases and whether the case method is becoming outdated, especially the old Harvard-style teaching cases, versus company programs and versus various experiential learning tools. Yeah, so, but here again, I think it's a very interesting opportunity for teachers kind of to bring these tools together, right? So we had just in spring, during the quarantine, we launched a number of webinars and discussions, both with faculty and also with business, because in CEEMAN we also have corporate members. And it was very interesting to see in one of the discussions, we had on one hand, multinational corporate leader, who is, you know, very, very strong also in working with different business schools around the world, sending people, their colleagues for education. And on the other hand, we had a serial entrepreneur from Central Asia, from Kazakhstan, and how they were, it was very different views also in terms of effectiveness of different teaching tools. So one would defend the classical case study saying, yeah, it's super relevant for us, it's very helpful. And the other would say that, yeah, we prefer live cases. We prefer students studying and working at the same time. We prefer them to learn on work. You know, we prefer them to learn from live cases, to learn from local cases, not from Amazon, who is God knows where and very far from the reality of Central Asia, for example. You know, so it's very interesting to see. And yeah, again, project work, you know, the integration of different disciplines for project work and real company projects, which partly many schools address. Also, I believe in MBA curriculum with having practical work and consulting projects, but still not enough. So there is a lot of work still to be done. I thought very interesting to hear about these live cases, you know, when the company is still developing. And I think it's really relevant nowadays, where we see a lot of startups popping up, a lot of startups having a chance from the very beginning going truly global, you know, and developing. And for the case writer, I think it's a good opportunity to take a few companies like this and to really track their development and develop the case from that as the company develops. With the cases of online teaching, of course, is then the question of how to keep attention of students, how to encourage interaction, proper discussions, achieving your learning objectives. And here also in one of our online discussions, we had this topic as well with faculty, and what they of course recommended that, yeah, go for shorter cases, use learning management systems if you can to support case preparation for discussion. For example, in the system that we use at IEDC, you can set up different milestones for student preparation. So for example, okay, this is your assignment, read case part A, for example. If you have not done it, you cannot have access to the next step, to the next learning material. You cannot participate in the discussion, yeah? But it's again a lot of work in actually setting up the process, yeah, the learning process, and adapting your materials to teaching online. Again, is it synchronous? Is it asynchronous? Which parts do you put where? You know, again, about the next steps, virtual reality cases, right? Because like there are already cases and some techniques of virtual reality used in some subjects. We have a program called EdTech in CEEMAN, where we talk about different technologies in using technologies in management education. So we actually had a course and a teacher from Kuzmitsky University, because they have gamification and virtual reality center there. And they showed how they use VR glasses and VR program for public speaking skills, you know, for boardroom presence. So you actually have a boardroom in front of you in the virtual reality, and you have some distractions that the teacher can send, I don't know, some birds flying over your head. And then you can analyze actually the pitch of your voice, the way you speak, the quality of arguments. You have all the data behind it, so you can actually analyze it much deeper than you would be able in the classroom. And I think the use of VR, the use of different tools, also the wearable technology, the smartwatches, smartphones, everything, whatever the combination of biotech and learning, is a completely new, exciting field still to be explored, you know, for management education in particular, because it relates so much also to psychology and biology, neuroscience. Oh my God, don't get me started there. You know, so I think it's very, very interesting. So that's actually it from my side, at least I hope, as an introduction. I do have my contacts here. So this is, again, Lake Bullet, how it looks literally now almost. And our main entrance, trying to be safe and keeping excellent and relevant also in the times of COVID. But I would very, very welcome your feedback, comments, experiences. I would be really, really happy to hear your experience now with preparing video cases. And I don't know if what I shared resonates with you, or maybe you disagree with some of the things, or, you know, so really thank you so much. And yeah, the floor is yours.